here we are in the SpaceX machine shop. When Elon Musk established SpaceX in 2002, he had only two things going for him. SpaceX was basically made up of carpet and a mariachi band. That was the entirety of the company at the time. Well, he did have one more thing, a boundless ambition. The sky is hardly the limit for Elon, whose mission has always been to send humans to Mars. On April 20, 2023, humanity took a step closer to that dream when the world's largest rocket, the fully reusable Starship, attempted to reach orbit for the first time. Of course, this was no ordinary situation. Although Starship did not manage to reach orbit, learning from failures has always been Elon's approach in building SpaceX. And to think, he built a rocket company with only a bachelor's degree in economics and another one in physics. Elon, who holds Canadian citizenship thanks to his mother May, started his undergraduate studies at Queen's University in Kingston, Ontario, just 3 hours east of Toronto. He chose Queen's over the University of Waterloo, known for its prestigious engineering program, because, as he humorously told Queen's magazine, there didn't seem to be any girls at Waterloo. He added, I didn't want to spend my undergraduate time surrounded by a bunch of dudes. After 2 years at Queen's, he transferred to the University of Pennsylvania, believing that attending an Ivy League school would improve his chances of landing a job in the U.S., the land of opportunities for tech. Still, degrees in economics and physics were not enough to make him a rocket scientist. So Elon taught himself by consuming books on the subject. This habit of voraciously reading started when he was a child, even reading through the entire encyclopedia by the time he was about 8 or 9 years old. He also sought knowledge from the best in the industry. Elon called aerospace consultant Jim Cantrell, who was driving in his convertible with the roof down, when he answered the phone. Cantrell recalled that he thought Elon introduced himself as an internet billionaire, which wasn't exactly true at the time. However, Elon had earned $180 million when his financial services company X.com merged with PayPal, which was later acquired by eBay. That is extraterrestrial travel in aerospace, I said, panting. You probably heard of this company. Elon then poured everything into 3 projects, $100 million into SpaceX, $70 million into Tesla, and $10 million into SolarCity, which eventually merged with Tesla. In 2001, he planned to buy a refurbished intercontinental ballistic missile, ICBM, from the Russians to use as a launch vehicle. His idea was to kickstart his space ambitions by sending a few mice to Mars. However, when he went to Moscow to negotiate, the Russians demanded $8 million per ICBM twice what Elon was willing to pay. When he countered with $8 million for 2 rockets, Jim Cantrell recalled in Ashley Vance's biography on Elon that the Russians simply replied, "Young boy." No! Elon reportedly stormed out of the meeting. On the flight back home, he calculated the cost of building and launching a rocket on a spreadsheet and realized that a modest-sized rocket, one that could carry smaller satellites and research payloads into space, could be built for far less than $8 million. That was when SpaceX was born, with the goal of building its own rockets. It's an understatement to say that starting a rocket company is difficult, but Elon found an ally in the godfather of rocket science, Tom Mueller. At the time, Tom worked for the aerospace giant TRW, which was later acquired by Northrop Grumman. On weekends, Tom built and fired rockets in the Mojave Desert as part of an amateur rocket club. The scene was tight-knit, and Tom was introduced to Elon. Before the Falcon 9, there was the Falcon 1. The Falcon 1 attempted to reach orbit for the first time in March 2006, but lasted only 41 seconds before crashing due to a fuel leak. The second attempt in the following year didn't go much better, as the rocket failed to reach orbit due to a chain of issues caused by an unexpected bump when the first and second stages separated. The third attempt also failed because of a timing error that caused the 2 stages to collide. By then, Elon had exhausted all the money he had allocated for SpaceX. When that third failure occurred, did he think, I need to give up? Never. Why not? Because he doesn't give up. I'd have to be dead or completely incapacitated, Elon said. He urged his employees to keep going. The then head of talent acquisition at SpaceX, Dolly Singh, remembered that Elon said, we need to pick ourselves up and dust ourselves off, he added. For my part, I will never give up. And I mean never, telling his team that if they stuck with him, they would eventually win. Dolly reflected, I think most of us would have followed him into the gates of hell carrying suntan oil after that. It was the most impressive display of leadership that I have ever witnessed. While Elon was fighting to keep SpaceX alive, Tesla was also on the brink of collapse. Elon had joined Tesla in its early stages, after investing millions of his PayPal earnings. Initially serving as board chair, he was thrust into the role of CEO in late 2008 when the company was struggling. The production of the first vehicle, the sporty Roadster, had run way over budget. By October 2008, Tesla had only $9 million left to fund its operations. Convincing investors to provide more funding during the worst financial crisis since the Great Depression was no easy task. At the same time, his personal life was in turmoil, with a divorce from his first wife, Justine, and raising 5 children, triplets and twins. Elon later referred to 2008 as the worst year of his life. He agonized over this decision. It was like being forced to choose between 2 children. Perhaps his difficult childhood shaped his resolve not to give up. He was bullied relentlessly growing up in Pretoria, South Africa. One day in 8th or 9th grade, while he and his brother Kimball were eating lunch on top of a flight of stairs, a boy snuck up behind Elon, kicked him in the head, and shoved him down the stairs. Several other boys then beat him until he blacked out. The beating caused severe damage to his nose, which restricted airflow, requiring surgery to correct a deviated septum. His home life was no less challenging. After his parents' divorce, Elon chose to live with his father for a time. However, he described his father, Errol, as such a terrible human being. You have no idea. My dad will have a carefully thought-out plan of evil. He will plan evil. Elon found solace in coding, often staying up late programming. At the age of 12, he developed a space-themed video game called Blaster. A South African magazine published the source code, and Elon earned $500. While the game wasn't groundbreaking in terms of programming, it showed glimpses of his emerging brilliance. Elon brought his science fiction dreams to life when he founded SpaceX at the age of 30. Despite 3 failed flight attempts, a crucial investment from a venture capital firm allowed SpaceX to attempt a 4th launch. The future of SpaceX hinged on that 4th attempt in 2008. On September 28, the Falcon 1 successfully lifted off. 9 minutes and 31 seconds later, the rocket reached orbit. The stage separation was confirmed. This success not only saved SpaceX, but also helped secure a $1.6 billion contract from NASA to resupply cargo to the International Space Station. SpaceX had dodged death's grip, but Tesla still faced dire straits. As Tesla was nearing its financial breaking point, Elon devised a plan to keep the company alive. He cut 25% of the workforce and relied on friends to help cover the weekly payroll. He scraped together $20 million, including profits from investing in his cousin's data center startup, which Dell later bought. Investors agreed to match whatever he raised on his own, which led to a new round of funding that saved Tesla on Christmas Eve. Exponential growth transforms Tesla 50 years ago. It was the last possible moment to secure the funding. Tesla endured many more hardships after going public in 2010 at $17 per share. While the Model S stunned the world, customers hesitated to purchase the luxury car when it first launched in 2012. To push sales, Elon turned his employees into salespeople, urging those who had placed deposits to follow through with their purchases. Elon's strategy worked. In 2013, Tesla surprised Wall Street by posting its first ever profit. Elon had always aimed to build a more affordable electric car, but Tesla struggled to keep up with demand for the Model 3. As Elon put it, "We're going to be in production hell." And indeed, the company faced huge challenges in producing the Model 3, with production initially lagging far behind targets. Tesla was burning through cash as it worked to ramp up production. By 2018, the company was just a month away from bankruptcy. Elon slept in the factory to save time, and he said he did it to suffer more than his staff, he explained. "Whenever they felt pain, I wanted mine to be worse." Tesla eventually found a way to overcome the challenges and turn things around. By 2020, Tesla had expanded from its initial factory in Fremont, California, to new locations worldwide. In 2022, the company delivered 1.3 million vehicles. One of them was my own. As I drove across Canada last summer, I couldn't help but think that one day, electric vehicles will be so ubiquitous that they'll simply be called cars. I noticed that supercharging stations across the country were almost empty. However, this will change as electric vehicles continue to grow in popularity. Many countries, including Canada, have mandated that all new cars and light-duty trucks sold be zero-emission by 2035. Additionally, other automakers, including Ford, are now relying on Tesla's supercharging network. So, Elon has stressed the importance of making Tesla's cars fully autonomous, in which there is no human intervention. This remains a critical factor in determining Tesla's future valuation. As engineers work to enhance full self-driving technology, Tesla also plans to integrate this tech into its robots, like Optimus. Initially, Optimus seemed like a side project, but Elon believes that in the long run, it could be worth more than the car business and the self-driving technology combined. There's also skepticism around Elon's plan to ease traffic by building underground tunnels through the Boring Company. We're still years away from knowing whether this will be a revolutionary transportation solution or if the idea is full of holes, pun intended. Another of Elon's ventures, Neuralink, received regulatory approval in May 2023 to begin testing its brain implant in humans. The goal is to help people with spinal cord injuries control devices like computers and smartphones with their thoughts. Elon believes that in the future, Neuralink could help those who are paralyzed walk again. Long term, Neuralink aims to merge humans with AI. A common theme connects all of Elon's companies: the dream of achieving freedom from Earth by reaching Mars with a fully reusable starship, freedom from fossil fuels, freedom from traffic, and freedom from the biological limitations of humanity. Now, Twitter, or X Corp as it is now known, is fighting for freedom of speech, which Elon felt was being suppressed under previous leadership. His goal is to turn Twitter into X, the everything app, which includes enhancing its video capabilities. Even though Elon has been building his companies for over a decade, their true potential is just beginning to unfold. Regardless of whether he succeeds or fails, Elon has shown time and time again that he won't give up. He once said, "When something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor." Bukarski.